He's the former president and publisher of the Sun Herald, and now he's on the radio. Welcome to Coast Vue with Ricky Mathews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast Vue. Now we're going to flip the page and move over to my friend Steve Azar, singer-songwriter from Mississippi and the music and cultural ambassador for the state of Mississippi, and got a cool music festival about to come up. We're going to talk about that in a second, but good morning, Steve. How you doing, buddy?
Brother Ricky, always great to talk to you, see you, Kyle, you as well.
Yeah. Well, look, you heard the end of our conversation with the two representatives from the Jackson County Economic Development Foundation, but isn't it interesting that the conversation, I don't care who you're talking to or what the topic is, it always comes back to the people of Mississippi, doesn't it?
I mean, I feel like we're our own building, if that makes sense. That our folks we're so unique, and we've talked about this, Ricky. It's we have the most unique characters on the planet, and if you take time to stop and talk and get to know one another, you realize that. And the proof is in the pudding for all of us that travel the world, but also our folks that we bring in for our Delta Soul, and they can't wait. Next thing you know, they're hunting, they're staying an extra 5 days. They don't want to leave the state and go back to Boston and Phoenix and LA and New York. And especially now, you think about it, Ricky, more than ever, these sort of, I guess you could say we're sort of, out of, small town, out of the city limits, suburban, I don't know, whatever word you call it. The bottom line is all of our cities are so sort of quaint and small that I think that we have an advantage more than ever, especially when it comes to tourism and celebrating our art form. You don't have to fight through traffic and all that. And and look, with any state that's got a name like Pascagoula for a town, I mean, come on, you got to want to go there, right? I've always loved saying Pascagoula.
Or a river named Schutica Bluff. I mean,
exactly.
even though you surely can't spell it, that's for sure. Hey, look, we got a lot to talk about today, but one of the things that's really cool to see is that the state, Kyle and I talked about this a little bit yesterday, but the state is beginning to really push the numbers up in terms of those who have been vaccinated. And we're starting to see the numbers climb. We're starting to see the mechanisms in place as the inventory of shots comes into the state. We're getting it out there really rapidly. I think the number is like 71% currently, and it continues to improve. But for someone in your business, and we've talked about this so many times, but people who are in your business, man, this vaccine and getting to herd immunity is the lifeblood of what you do. And I bet you're glad, not just on behalf of yourself, you've been able to find diversified ways to keep life going, but all the people involved in your industry, people who drive buses and help set up for concerts, and the people who play in your bands. And I mean, man, we need life to get back to normal again, don't we?
Been complicated for our business for sure. And you just said it. You're mentioning all these elements: people that build road cases, the people that sell merch. I mean, they have relied on that year to happen, and you hope that there's a little nest egg that you've gone into. But the music industry has always been one of those industries for some reason that government doesn't see it such as this billions and billions of dollar industry between live gigs and selling records and streaming. And we've been in battle with, with Spotify and all that. And now they're coming to terms. But it's been a long, grueling, you're using our music, with streaming. But I'm understanding Spotify and appreciating it now. So I think we're all coming to grips, but the money's starting to make a little bit more sense now for us where it didn't before. So so you think about that, but when I guess what I'm saying is, like all my songwriters that's coming to this festival this weekend, the bottom line is they were set because they were always involved in record sales. So they were always having checks come in from all over. And if they had a single on the radio, amen, big touchdown, grand slam, World Series, all that. But in the most part, if you had 10 songs cut and you had a Chesney record and they're all million sellers, that's $900,000 in income. If you split it between 2 writers or 3 writers or whatever publishing, at least you got some money coming in where you don't have to leave the house. And that's what these guys did. for so many years, and now I've got them out of the house, and they love playing. And so there's some positives to all of this. And the silver lining you and I have talked about, we're going to find out some silver linings. But the bottom line for me is, selfishly, my pals that used to never leave the house, and I made jokes about it, now love to go out and play. And it's opening it up for us. And this vaccine is so great. And Governor Reeves has done a fantastic job. I don't care what side of the fence you're on, you got to stop and think about it. He is so smart and intelligent when it comes to numbers and preparing. And that's what he's done. And so I'm obviously one of the last ones on the list. I haven't gotten my vaccine yet, but more importantly, my folks have. So they're vaccinated, and I think they're ready to go back to church.
Well, as you and I have talked about before, and you alluded to it in this day of streaming, the concerts used to be, you do concerts to promote an album, and a lot of money would come from album sales and whatever. And a lot of that you'd have to share with producers and record companies and all that. But now the actual concert itself is really a critical part of the overall business model, isn't it? It
is the key now, because record labels, when they do a deal with you, they want to have a piece of that. So as an artist, you're really getting chunks taken out. There's 10% of your agent, 15% of your manager. Your record label now is part of that whole situation. There's all of these elements that are coming. So as an artist, you really have to be working a lot, or working a certain amount of dates with a lot of money. And the few that work for, the Jimmy Buffetts of the world, one of ours, he's one of those elite percent that can, go set up 15, 20 shows and then just kick back. But the rest of the music world is sort of upper middle class, and down. We have to work. And so you can take it, how much you have to work and go from there. But yeah, live gigs, Ricky, it's it. And so it's been interesting seeing all of those go away. And, that brings us to the topic I guess we'll start talking about in that.
Yeah, let me mention one thing before we go to the festival. I read a story in Wall Street Journal that said that the number of writers involved in a number one hit at Billboard Hot 100 is up to 5.5 writers, whereas in 1990 it was 2.1. So, and the reason this is really kind of brought up is that the recent buying frenzy to get catalogs is raising an important question about who benefits. So, I never realized that many people could be involved in a single song.
Let me tell you what's happening. Yeah. I'll tell you I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I can tell you, I know we're on limited time. What's happening is, for instance, I've had friends who's had, like my old producer, Rafe Van Hoy, had a Millie Jackson hit. He wrote it by himself. So all of a sudden he finds out he's got the number 3 song in the land on the pop R&B charts back in the day, and with Trick Daddy. And it was I'm a Thug. And he took the Millie Jackson song and he sampled it into his song, and Rafe became half a songwriter. So, so Rafe was like dressed up in the big jackets and the bling because he was so happy because he didn't even know. So you may have 5 writers because of all of these sort of collaborations of songs. But then again, in Nashville, I'm hearing a lot of times, there's Jesse Rice, a friend who wrote Cruising, what is it, big hit for Florida Georgia Line. There was probably 5 of them in the room, 7. I don't know, it was a bunch of them. I write alone mostly. So, and I enjoy that process, but man, I've never written with over 2 people. So it is interesting. And our publishers wouldn't let us do it because it broke the money in too many pieces. So, yeah, but that's a good example why there were 2,500 of us on salary and staff writers. And back in the mid 90s, all the way to about 2006 or 7. And now there's 250 staff writers in Nashville.
Wow. That's really incredible. Hey, so we're coming to the end of the segment. We'll start this now, and what we'll do, we'll pick it up on the other side. But your Mockingbird Songwriters Music Festival is coming up in Leland, Mississippi this weekend. I'm happy for you because it's giving you a chance to draw some of your friends, many from Mississippi, some from outside Mississippi. But man, when you look at the list of songs that they have written, man, you've really amassed some incredible people, haven't you?
Well, relationships, you spend a lot of time with them. Trying to see if one of you can have the first hit. We were all going through it together, and it was always a celebration. So we're all coming together. There's 1 degree of separate, maybe a half a degree between all of us. So there's a big brotherhood of us and sisterhood. So I'm looking forward to having them down here on Delta Soul. They may never leave. You know that. You know what'll happen. Love it.
So, hey, tell us where Leland, Mississippi is.
It's home of Jim Henson and the Muppets, baby. It's like 9 miles from my house here. If I look east, it's between Indianola and Greenville. And it's great. Our friends of ours, the Ponies, have this incredible venue they created for wedding receptions and parties called the Gin at Dunleavy. And it's right on their farm, and we're celebrating the farmers before they get to planting. And I just love that, because I love our farmers down here. I got a lot of friends who farm, who gamble more than we do. The ultimate gambler is a farmer. They bust their tails, and all of a sudden they're waiting on make sure the price is right, and then they finally have a good crop, or they're dealing with no rain or too much rain. I mean, these guys are rock stars. So I like to do it where they can come and celebrate and get ready to roll.
We're talking more about the Songwriters Festival coming up this weekend, and we'll get into who's involved in this and why is Steve so passionate about it. It's a great opportunity to sort of unleash bringing some people together in a safe way and in a really cool spot. So we'll be back after this break to talk more about it.
Broadcasting safe and sound from the coastal Mississippi studios, this is Coast Vue with Ricky Mathews on SuperTalk 103.1.
Talking to the people that help make the coast such a unique place to live. This is Coast Vue with Ricky Mathews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast Vue. One of the benefits of sitting in this chair is I get the opportunity to meet some amazing people. And along the way, I've formed some new bonds. And one of those has been with Steve Azar. Steve and I have really become close friends. And my love for coastal Mississippi, his love for the state, when we get together, it's just fun for me. And in this particular case, what I love, Steve, is your passion for everything you do. And this Songwriters Festival is just an extension of that. And the fact that, as you just mentioned, in Leland, Mississippi, sort of celebrating farmers before their planting season starts, and your ability through your relationships and through your show in a Mississippi Minute to bring all these incredible songwriters in. It's got to be cool for you to be able to do something that's going to be positive for Mississippi.
Well, you think about the economic impact, and we talked about the negatives of the industry in general at times, but the state of Mississippi has done so many wonderful things to allow us to bring folks in. So this is all about Music City coming to the birthplace of American music. They love doing it. They're in awe of who we are and our history of music. And tourism, Craig Ray, Governor Reeves is all in. I mean, they're all in. And the MDA, John Rounsavall, Mike McGreevy, they're all so passionate about the stuff that we do. And they understand that there's an economic impact and also a morale booster. Come on, man. When you can boost the morale of folks and give them some reason to celebrate, especially now,
right.
And in music and the art form that made us so relevant to the world. And I just think that mix it with a little agriculture, our farmers, I think that it's a no-brainer. And then this is one of these festivals where it's called the Mockingbird Songwriters Music Festival. It's our first year. It's on the farm, like I said, at the Gin at Dunleavy. Our good friends is the Ponies. A lot of Italian farmers down here, that. And a lot of vowels at the end of names. And so they've been here for many generations, and they're dear friends of ours, and they got this great, cool event. The venue's so perfect. It's insane. This is where we did the One Mississippi charity event last year for the pumps south of us. And raised $50,000 real quick. Just small, brought a few of my friends down. And it made me realize that this thing, a few's not going to work. Let's bring a dozen of them down at a time and then grow it. Put people in hotels, and they're starting to do it, and that helps the economy. Obviously, hotels are limited, restaurants are limited, and we are following every guideline that's current to the state for sure, and making sure that people know that this is going to be like you're walking in a restaurant. You keep your mask on, and we get up around, but when you're in your little area, you can do it like a restaurant and do your thing. It's just going to be awesome. So I selfishly, I'm excited to see my old friends and perform together, 3 of you at a time on stage. And then, Ricky, I'm gonna celebrate a few of Mississippi artists that folks locally know. Some travel the world. One was up for a blues award. I mean, they're all this. And then one kid that I'm producing from Petal, Mississippi right now, who could truly be a big, big star. His songwriting is incredible. Been working with him, and I fall in love with the kid. And he's not really a kid. He was 6'3.5" and about 250 pounds, and was a big lineman and was going to play at South Alabama. But he's really good. His name's Tyler Tisdale. So I'm looking forward to sharing in the next 2 months. His whole persona online will be totally different. It'll be who he is. A lot of times folks don't have the ability or the knowledge or the team to be able to put all that together and make it look like, okay, here's who I really am. You know what I mean?
Hey, Steve, are tickets still available to the festival?
Yeah. We're going to limit it to 500 people. We've been selling about 15, 20 a day now. They're popping. And so we're closing in on it. So if people want to buy tickets, you can go to steveazar.com, go to the extra page, and then go to Mockingbird Music Festival, take your tickets, or you can go to Eventbrite for Greenville, Mississippi. And we're keeping things really simple. There's no big Ticketmaster or Vendini. And I mean, parking's free. I'm not charging our food trucks, Doe's and Lost Pizza. I'm a fan of theirs. And I just want everybody to come together and make money so they can spend it and put it back in our state.
Yeah. So give me an idea of some of the songs that we'll hear.
Okay. You ready for this? Everybody, some people know my Waiting on shows, and I don't have to be me on Monday, Sunshine, Cold Water, all that. But then you've got Monty Holmes. He wrote Troubadour. I Know She Still Loves Me. Never, Never Again. My buddy Anthony Smith wrote Run for George Strait. Chrome, Christopherson, Matt Warren, Putting Memories of all the great Learning How to Bend. Every Storm Runs Out of Rain. Win Varble, Waiting on a Woman. Why couldn't I have written Waiting on a Woman instead of Waiting on Joe? I always ask him. Have you forgotten? I'm a little more country than that. And then Jason Mathews, Must Be Doing Something Right, the Billy Currington big hit. Drinking Beers and Wasting Bullets. Jim Moose Brown, 5 O'Clock Somewhere, plays with Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. Don Sampson's had hits on Willie Nelson and Chris Stapleton, everywhere in between. Midnight in Montgomery, Tough Little Boys. James House, My Dear Friend, I Ain't That Lonely Yet. In a Week or Two, Broken Wing. This Is Me Missing You. Then Tom Shepard, Redneck Yacht Club, Riding with Private Malone. Kyle Jacobs, who's married to Kelly Pickler, the first only Garth Brooks song on Billboard to ever go #1 out the box, More Than a Memory. He wrote Eighth World Wonder, Still. He's also a CMA and ACM award winner and hit producer. And then we've got my buddies Rob Mortimer, Zach Day, and Trey Gardo, all from Mississippi, and of course Tyler Tisdale, who's going to do their thing. Tyler's going to perform with me, and so it's going to be on, and Friday night, all day Saturday, from the afternoon on to 11 o'clock at night. And if you've never seen the songwriter do their songs that they wrote, that we all wrote, then you've never heard the song at all, because they're going to tell you the story. They're going to be cutting up because they're nuts on stage together. And I got to be honest with you, I'd rather hear the songwriter do their song than any artist that just sang it. It is another level of emotion. It's a special place to be. And if you're in front of it and watching it, you leave and go, that's how I want to see that song forever. It's pretty cool.
You should know you've written a couple yourself, right?
Well, I've always been writing for myself, so I'm a little bit of a different bird, but a lot of artists don't write. So these are the guys that do it. And these are the guys, to me, that I'm in awe of. I'm truly in awe of them because it's easy to, I have an advantage because I'm going to cut the song I write. They don't have the advantage. And I think they're a lot smarter than me and a lot more brilliant, a lot more talented in a lot of ways. So I am humbled to be around them. They also all came from very small towns. It's amazing. So the farm's a perfect place. These small towns where they were able to dream big and have a crazy imagination, probably running around with a stick. You know what I mean? And then they're great athletes. They're all these guys are great athletes, which I think is a common thread with surviving the music business.
So, Steve, it's been a pleasure to visit with you. We're running out of time, but good luck this weekend. I hope I'll see you. I'm going to be up. I'm going to try to drive over. Yeah.
Come on. I want to see you.
We'll hope to see you this weekend. But anyway, good luck with you. And if you're inclined, go up to the Mississippi Delta this weekend to Leland, Mississippi, and enjoy that incredible event. Anyway, it's been a pleasure, my friend.
Love you, brother. You're the best.
Okay, man. You bet. You see ya. And thanks a lot, Kyle, as usual. And have a great day.
Coast View on SuperTalk 103.1 is brought to you by J. Allen Toyota on I-10 exit 38 Gulfport. See all the incredible inventory at allentoyota.com. And remember, when you think Toyota, think J. Allen Toyota.